Hi, I'm Corey, and this is Jason Backus. We've attended Mountain View since the fall of 2017. When we first started dating and got married, we were not active in a church. Neither of us had tithed ever in our life. We both knew about it. We knew that we should, but we didn't. And fortunately, Pastor Daniel spoke to us plainly about what the Bible actually says about a tithe, that a tithe is the first 10% of any money that you bring in. My old church told us when I was growing up that a tithe included time. If you couldn't afford to pay money, you could donate your time. Pastor Daniel talked about the benefits of tithing, but we never actually took the plunge and did it. We paid for our seat. If we showed up, we gave $20 because that's what we could do. So the thought of going from not even being able to afford how you're living now to then having a second mortgage, essentially, our tithe was the amount of our mortgage. So now bringing on a second mortgage, how does that work? It doesn't work. It doesn't work on paper, and we were terrified. We wanted to, we had the desire, but we were legitimately afraid. And Pastor Daniel, we remember it very clearly. It was Miracle Sunday in 2020.
And whenever we think that we don't have enough, the dominant emotion that we feel in that moment is fear. You're thinking to yourself, all the church wants is my money. I don't have any money to give. Can we just get that straight? And all of us have this little comfort zone, with this little safe area, this little shoreline, this little box of what we think we can or cannot do. But the God who made the fish, the God who calms the waves and the winds, says he lives within us. And he says, if you will open up your hands and put down your nets, obey me even when it doesn't make sense, take the lid off, you will see that I am a God of a limitless supply. And too many of us today are missing out on the things that God has in store for us because we refuse to challenge our way of thinking, our way of living, and our way of giving. And listen, the only cap on what God can do in and through you is you.
And that just really stuck with us. And we thought, okay, let's do this challenge. Let's test God. Let's do our tithe we'll just commit to the 90 days and see what happens. And if we fail, we'll just go back to how we were. But we chose to take the leap of faith. We chose to live in faith and not to live in hope.
And then about 2 weeks later, COVID hit, and both of us were sent to work from home full time. I work in banking, and at the time Corey worked in healthcare, and it was pretty scary because we didn't know if we were going to keep our jobs or not at that point. Right away, though, we realized we were saving money by working from home. I was driving 50 miles each way to work, paying about $400 a month in gas, and then having to pay for parking, and immediately that went away. And the amount that we were saving per month was a little more than probably half of what we had committed to tithe. So right away, within 2 weeks to a month, we were automatically saving money, which was a huge surprise. And then we just all of a sudden started finding other ways that we were saving money. Not that we were getting a check in the mail with this huge amount, but little things. We were able to refinance our cars, refinance our mortgage, to the point where the amount of money we were saving every month was more than what we had committed to tithing. Then a year and a half later, out of nowhere, my boss calls me while I'm still working from home to tell me that the company reevaluated everyone's salary in our department and they were giving us raises. And I was shocked by this unexpected huge raise that more than made up for, again, the amount that we were tithing. So it was just these unexpected things that we didn't think were gonna come to us that made a difference after we started tithing.
Yeah, and it's just so funny to see for me how we went from being so afraid to give and not knowing whether or not God would provide for us or how we'd make ends meet, and to see the transition over time. He kept rewarding our faithfulness. So then now it's become almost a challenge when something comes up unusual. It's like, okay, God, how are you going to take care of this for us? We'll do our part, but how are you going to provide for us? Because it's not whether or not he will. We know he will. It's just how. And so that's become a joy. We now give our tithe, plus we contribute to other things like legacy out of joy, because you can't outgive God. He will always bless you above and beyond what you give. And it's just changed our entire lives. We would never go back.